What's up guys, Dr. Elysian back with another YouTube video, and today we're going to take a look at some AoE and single target pet builds for Rage. A little bit of a backstory: I was an Earth tank before I switched, so all my DPS artifacts were pet because that works really well for Earth. But we're going to take a look at some loadouts here that I created for Rage. I think they're pretty good, they're pretty decent, so let's take a look at it. Alright, so taking a look at the gear, in my weapon mod I have absorption adapter for the shield because we're doing some melee. In the head mod I'm using supercharged Beserk to get some supercharge back when I use it. In the neck it's an OP item, so I share it with my tanks, so I'm running fortified assault. You can run escalating might. For the back I have accelerated berserk. For the chest I have extended supercharge for even more supercharge back. For the legs they don't really matter, but I'm running restorative lacerate. We have the DPS rings. In the feet I'm running Tumble Master, really good for getting out of the way. Waist, there's no mod. Hands, I'm running max damage. And there's no mods for the shoulders or the face, but they are the DPS. You want your CR to be as high as it can possibly be because that lends itself to more damage for your pets. In the trinket, I'm running the DPS trinket, trinket pet, orbital, and supply drop. And my artifacts, we're going to be running Grim, Source Shard, and Quizlet. Grim, honestly, you can keep it at 160, you don't need it at 200, but for Source Shard and Quizlet, I recommend 200. So for the allies, keep in mind that I mainly tank on this tune, so a lot of my allies are geared towards that. But for the combat, I'm running Superman. For the AoE, he's a great AoE ally. And for the passes, I'm running Cyborg and Nubia. In ideal situations, you should be running Batman Who Laughs and Emperor Aquaman as passives, but because they are both legendary, and this is just a side tune, I'm not doing all that. So for the skill point specs, in my weapon I only have one in two-handed, that's my primary weapon. I also have another skill point in rifle, just for certain lunging situations. It's good to have one in there just so you can switch off without having to worry about it. In your movement mode, you need two of them to unlock the breakout and stun resistance masteries and such. They're not required. If you have the extra skill points to spend on it, great. If not, don't worry about it. In the iconic powers, I grab Robot Sidekick, Heat Vision, and Super Strength. You don't really need anything else. You don't need Heat Vision for the AoE. I just have it just for those just in case moments. And for your stat tree, you're going to go focus superpowered. You're going to dump 20 and 40 into your critical attack chance and critical attack damage. And then you're going to dump everything that you have into might and power, and any leftovers I have in health for survivability since we are going to be melee range. Alright, so for the actual loadout, this is what it is. So first off we have Outrage. Now Outrage has a combo, so if you tap melee again and then hold melee after that, you'll do the combo. After Outrage we're going to be doing Revenge, and Revenge also has a combo. If you hold the melee, it does the Revenge spin. We're going to be doing that in the loadout as well. And then lastly we have Lacerate. Now, important thing about Lacerate is the cooldown doesn't start until you finish your animation. You'll stay in the animation until you stop it, and that's when the cooldown stops. We're going to run Godwave from Source Shard, just to buff our pets. And then, of course, we're going to be running Robot Sidekick, and then the supercharge is going to be Beserk. Alright, so taking a look at the numbers here, we got 1.2, then we got 2.0, 1.8, 1.4, 1.7, 1.69, 1.7, 1.7. Here I'm going to show what the loadout looks like while using Beserk, which is where this build really shines. So if you have somebody that's running greens in your group, that's where you're really going to do a lot of your damage. And remember that Beserk takes into account also pet damage, so all the damage that Quizlet does in the supercharge, as well as ally damage and trinket pet damage as well. So it really hits like a truck when you do use your supercharge. And here I'm going to show some damage, including the ally and the trinket pet as well. So taking a look at these numbers here, you see we got up 3.9, and then we hovered around 2 mil for a while, and then we hit a 4.7 in 10 seconds, which is insane. And then it went down to a 2.5 and a 2.2. And then you got to take into account other things like buff trolls and things like that, and you'll really see where this shines. Alright, so single target, nothing in terms of our spec or our gear changes. Everything mostly stays the same, exactly the same. So all these gear mods are the same, all the artifacts are the same, nothing's changed in terms of our gear. So the only thing that has changed in terms of allies is I put Crypto in for combat, but again, ideally for the passives you should be running Batman Who Laughs and Emperor Aquaman. Again, looking at the skill point spec, nothing has changed here. I'm still putting one in my primary weapon and then another one in the rifle for those lunging situations. And then for acrobats, still the exact same setup. If you have the skill points to spare, great. If not, don't worry about it. In iconic powers, we're keeping the same 3, except this time we're actually going to be using heat vision. You want robot sidekick and super strength as well. Stat points, the exact same spec. We're going super powered, doing our 20 and 40 in our criticals, and then everything in might and power, the rest in health, if you have the extra skill points. Alright, so in terms of the loadout, we're going to be using Eviscerating Chain. Each chain has a combo where if you hold melee, it does eviscerate. We're going to clip that into Heat Vision, which is going to be our second ability. Heat Vision, we're only going to be doing it for a couple ticks, and then we're going to jump cancel out of it. And we're going to go right into Channel Hate. We're going to let Channel Hate do its entire animation because it hits like a truck. We also have God Wave from Source Shard. We have Robot Sidekick. And again, our supercharge is going to be Beserk. So taking a look at our numbers here, we started off with a 1 million, then we got 9.6, 1.3, 1.3, 9, 1.3, 1 mil, 1.2. I will say, while you watch this clip of using the loadout with Beserk, a lot of the damage is taking into consideration this sparring target is getting hit with the combo. So the dips to like 1 mil and 900k and 1.2, that's probably a little more accurate when it comes to the numbers, because you're not really going to pull the boss and do that combo for the first one. We really just use that to clip into heat vision. So just take that into mind. But it still hits. It still hits for single target, and Rage is really not known for its single target, especially range. So I feel like this really opens up the door to doing some massive damage for single target range Rage, which is awesome. So taking a look at the numbers here, we get up to about 2 mil, and then 1.7, and then we almost hit 3 mil with that Beserk in terms of single target. So that's amazing in 10 seconds. So I hope you guys enjoyed these loadouts for Rage pet DPSing. I definitely want to do some more pet builds in the future and show you guys, because I really do think it's a niche little DPS area that's really fun to do. So take care, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.